This is Eyewitness News from number 11, Dr. Martin Loop in Adabraka, Accra. With me, Larte. Tonight, I'm here with
Nettey.
And coming up over the next hour and a half,
we have had very constructive engagement. So what they told us was that, they have heard what we have told them by way of they calling off the strike, but they have to go back to their councils.
Government and striking teacher unions failed to reach a consensus over impasse for the removal of new Director General of the Ghana Education Service, a situation which means the strike by the three teacher groups continues unabated. Also,
he has overlived his welcome. He himself said it, that he needs just 18 months to change the structure of the economy. It's been 6 years, so he's had quadruple.
President Akufo-Addo to taste a dose of his own medicine as a cross-section of Ghanaians prepare to hit the streets tomorrow in protest of the current cost of living crisis in what has been tagged as Kumepreku demo led by private legal practitioner Martin Pebu. Still on Eyewitness News.
Half the day, if you're receiving 8 hours, you'll be willing to stay, do the business for like two days, and then save the 3,000. That way, we can save like 500 cedis on fuel every week.
MPs feeling the pinch of the harsh hikes in fuel prices, pushing for a 2-day parliamentary work policy as they struggle with the rising cost of petroleum products. Stay with 97.3 Citi FM for more on these and other stories on Eyewitness News and in business.
Ahead of the presentation of the 2023 budget, the Association of Ghana Industries pushes for the implementation of zero-rated import duties on industrial raw materials.
That will be in the next 15 minutes with Nettey for the top stories in the world of business. Eyewitness News is live across the country on our partner stations in the Western region. This is Adjempa 100.7 FM in Takwa Beach, 105.5 FM in Takrady, and Sky Power 93.5 FM also in Takrady in the Western region. Bonu region, this is Greener 95.9 FM in Sunyani, Adjempa 99.9 FM in Inkaria in the Ashanti region. If you are listening to us in the Volta region, this is Heritage 107.3 FM in Hohoi, Freedom 88.1 FM in Sugagape, and the Northern region, this is Radio Gaki 88.3 FM in Saboba, Quality 88.7 FM in Garu. In the Upper East region, in the Upper West region, this is Ganga 94.3 FM in Jarapa, and in the Northeast region, this is Nobia FM 98.1 in Nalerugu. Globally, we are live on citynewsroom.com. Eyewitness News is interactive. Tell us what you make of the stories by sharing your thoughts with us via WhatsApp on 0549 986 996. 0549 986 996. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. My name is Larte here with Nettey, who brings us our first story.
A meeting between the Employment Ministry and teacher unions over the stalemate on the appointment of Dr. Eric Nkansa as Director General of the Ghana Education Service has ended inconclusively. The meeting follows a declaration of strike by teacher unions in protest of the appointment by government. After hours of engagement for the unions to call off their strike, they requested for time to seek views of their members. In an interview with Citi News after the meeting, Deputy Employment and Labour Relations Minister Bright Rekubrobe indicated that engagements will continue on Monday.
It was a very fruitful engagement. We have had very constructive engagement. We invited them at a very short call, and thankfully they honored the meeting. We have had very constructive engagement. The modus operandi of the unions are that they normally will have to seek mandate from their councils. So what they told us was that, they have heard what we have told them by way of they calling off the strike, but they have to go back to their councils. Today is a Friday, tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday. They will use those days to engage. We are back on table on Monday, God willing, to ensure that we discuss this matter and end it.
One will ask, why did the ministry wait this long? Because the agitations have started quite some weeks ago.
Now, this is the Ministry of Employment and Labour Relations. Many issues are ministry-specific issues. For instance, such as this. Until it gets into an extent where we think that many people are going to be affected by way of strike, then we quickly came in. So we came in, and that was their beef that why is it taking that long for us to step in? But we have stepped in. And that's why they said they need to go back to their council. So it's not too late. God willing, Monday we meet in the afternoon. This matter will be off the table.
Finally, prior to they coming here, they declared strike. What did you make of it, having invited them on Thursday only for them to declare strike on Friday?
Well, according to them, they also had a timetable they were working with. They had served notice to the Labour Commission. They had done that. And that is why they have asked that they go back to seek mandate from their councils to call off the strike. And we have to agree with them. So God willing, Monday, when we meet in the afternoon, I'm sure. Monday afternoon was agreed upon because also as stakeholders, some of us travel outside Accra and so on. And because of the urgency of the matter, we want to deal with it on Monday. So we agreed to some of them even commute from Kumasi. Citi is based in Kumasi and all that. We need to give them time to assemble on Monday. God willing, this will be dealt with.
Bright Rekubobe is Deputy Employment and Labour Relations Minister. Meanwhile, the minority in Parliament is asking the government to deal with concerns of the various teacher unions as a matter of urgency in order not to disrupt the academic calendar. Speaking to journalists, the ranking member on the Education Committee of Parliament, Peter Nochukotoi, called on the Education Minister to ensure a resolve of the concern.
Some of us were not happy with the circumstances that surrounded the dismissal of the former Director General, that is Professor Kokwa Mankwa. We have worked with him, and we know what he could do and what he was doing. But unfortunately, we are not the appointing authority. So they knew why they removed him. And why we're not happy was that this man had about a few months to go on retirement. So the best could have been ask him to go on retirement prior to retirement. But this was not done. So we are not quite happy with that. But with the appointment of the Director General, that is Dr. Eric Nkansa, as a committee or as an individual, we don't have a hand in it. Yeah, so it is solely the government. But the dimension it has taken now gives us a concern as far as teacher unions declaring a strike from today, 4th of November, yeah. So I would rather call on the Minister for Education to engage the teacher unions and explain to them the rationale behind the appointment of Dr. Eric Nkansa. So as a committee, we have decided that we will sit back now, watch events, and then where we realize that there is no solution, then we will come in. But we believe that the minister can do something about this as quickly as possible. Because the strike action will not help anybody. The students will have to remain at home. And you know our checkered calendar of education in the country already. So any strike action now will disrupt whatever program the GS has put in place. So we will strongly appeal to the Minister for Education that this is not a matter of I don't care. It's a matter of a dialogue. And then he should do that. And we hope that if he does that, then we will find a solution to the matter.
Okay, but we are just told that the meeting with government has ended inconclusive. Is this not going to prolong the strike, which would eventually affect the students?
Well, that has not come to our notice or knowledge that they engaged government and it was inconclusive. So we will listen to both sides. We'll find out from both sides what led to the inconclusiveness of the meeting. And then from there, we'll take it up.
Okay.
Yeah, but we'll appeal that this is a matter for the Minister for Education to handle. And he must handle it with the necessary speed and attention.
The way the teacher unions are speaking, they are not getting back if Dr. Eric Nkansa is not relieved of his post. As a ranking member on the committee, will you back that call that to bring industrial harmony, just sack the man and then bring another person who they like?
As I said, as a committee, we are thinking that the minister should handle the matter And if he cannot handle and he calls us in, then we'll be able to help. If you remember the UTAG issue, when the Ministry of Education, the Ministry of Labor and Employment could not handle it, yeah, they invited us in as a committee. So we were able to help them resolve the matter. So this, we will expect the minister. We want to see how the minister is going to handle it. Well, if you make any judgment now, we may not be able to handle the matter perfectly. So let's wait for the minister to handle the matter, or his inability to handle the matter. Then we can come in and see what we can do.
Peter Nochukoto is ranking member on the Education Committee of Parliament.
Let's get a reaction from one of the teacher unions present in that particular meeting we understand ended inconclusively. The National Association of Graduate Teachers, Angel Kabonu, is president of NAGRA. He joins us on the line. Good evening to you, Mr. Kabonu, and thank you for joining us on Eyewitness News.
Thank you very much.
First, I wonder if you were aware of the meeting between the Labour and Employment Ministry and the teacher unions. If you were, why would you then rush to declare a strike ahead of that crucial engagement? Have you not acted in bad faith?
The first press conference that we organized on this matter was on the, I think the 19th of October. And we indicated at that time that the ministry should rescind its decision, or else we go on strike in November. It's been more than 2 weeks when that declaration of intent was made. The eve of the strike action was when we got the invitation from the Ministry of Employment and Labor Relations in the afternoon, calling us for a meeting the next morning. Who has acted in bad faith in this matter?
In fact, you could have exercised some form of restraint listening to the Employment Ministry before declaring that particular action, because if you say that you received that notice just a night to that particular engagement, couldn't you have exercised some patience?
The unions take mandate from their various councils. I have held my council meeting and I've communicated to my council on the various platforms that we have. NAT held its council and concluded its council just last Saturday. Citi held its council meeting to take mandate, and just a letter on the eve of an action that the public have been informed over 2 weeks ago. I mean, I don't think the Ministry of and again, the invitation even to come and sit down to Georgia was not even from the Ministry of Education. It was from the Ministry of Employment and Labor Relations. Let's take note of that. What some operatives in the Ministry of Education were doing were going around, engaged in acts of subterfuge, mobilizing teachers, mobilizing phony press conferences, trying to banter us in the media instead of sitting with the stakeholders to discuss the issues. And of course, if we had even engaged in a series of discussion on this matter, I don't even think that today's strike action would have been announced. But they were rather engaged in Elizabethan political strategy of trying to see whether they can get certain teachers within the fold to issue counter statements against the union leadership, or make press statements that reaches nowhere. This type of engagement and politics is politics of old. It doesn't work.
All right, but we understand that today you were present at that particular engagement. Are you able to share with us, because we are told that it ended in a stalemate? What really did the two parties fail to agree on?
Well, we placed before the minister and his entourage the position and concerns that we have, and the fact that we called that the right thing to be done based on what we think is the right thing. The minister also gives the opportunity to the Ministry of Education group to also state their case. And like it's as if what we have put on the table was not addressed.
What did you put on the table?
The same thing we said at the first conference, indicating that we think that the appointment of Dr. Eric Nkansa is at par with the way things are done and the type of the caliber of people appointed to become the Director General of the Ghana Education Service. And it offends the sensibilities of professionalism and also offends the fact that Ghana Education Service is a public service. Ghana Education Service is a professional service. The various ranks in Ghana Education Service is stated and known within the conditions of service. The appointment of persons to Ghana Education Service will be men and women of certain caliber, competence, and skills. And we don't think that Dr. Eric Nkansa is a man with that caliber, competence, and skills.
Well, you have mentioned this particular issue in the past. You've declared your position. In fact, the ministry says that it will not budge. It mentions that the position of the Director General of the Ghana Education Service is not a preserve of a trained teacher, and it is more administrative than the teaching profession itself. In fact, it said that you cannot usurp your powers by telling government who is appointed to that particular position. Are you not still satisfied with the explanation that the ministry has given you in the past few days?
We beg to differ on that position of the Ministry of Education. And we want to say that we are not arrogating ourselves the position of appointing authorities. No, that's not what we are doing. The appointing authority of the Director General of the Ghana Education Service is the President, on advice by the Council, Ghana Education Service Council. Now, when you even look at the letter that was signed by Nana Asante BD through the Executive Secretary to the President, made reference to a write-up that the Minister of Education did to them, indicating that Professor Opoku-Amankwah, the skills that Professor Opoku-Amankwah possesses is no longer relevant to the needed skills within the Ghana Education Service. Therefore, suggested that the President revokes his appointment. That was the letter. So you will see that this action is not exclusively taken by the presidency, but was taken on the advice and instigation of the Minister of Education. The removal of Professor Opoku-Amankwah and the appointment of Dr. Nkansa were all on the instigation. And Mr. Asante Bedri stated that clearly in the letter, indicating that it was the instigation of the minister that the following actions are being taken.
Well, government has been calling your bluff. In fact, are you to say that if Dr. Nkansa still remains at post, you as a teacher union, you are not going to work with him?
That is exactly what we have said.
And are you also demanding a reinstatement of Professor Opoku-Amankwah?
In our press conference today, we never said anywhere.
I'm just asking.
That the government, we didn't say anywhere that the government should reinstate Professor Opoku-Amankwah. That decision is within the ambit of government, but that is not what we have said. What we have said is that the person who has been appointed, we don't think that he's the right person to head Ghana Education Service at this particular moment.
So what do you say to those who say really the teacher unions are after a wild goose chase because there are some other pertinent issues in the education sector other than channeling your resources and energies into those areas? You are just going after the appointment of a Director General of the Ghana Education Service, which is really much ado about nothing.
They don't understand the dynamics at play and the consequences of that appointment to the well-being of the teacher as we speak. And if they had understood it and appreciated the way we did, their position will be different from what they are saying. Are they saying that the one who is coming to superintend over the activities of a teacher is not relevant to the survival and the well-being of the teacher? the one who will take decisions to affect your life, is not relevant? Are they saying that the teacher is not competent enough to rise to the level of a director general to head the teaching service or the Ghana Education Service? Those people are not cloaked with the facts of the matter, and they are speaking very ignorant.
So how far are you going with your intended your strike that you have declared?
Oh, as we speak, we have declared strike. We are on strike, and we are expecting that our demands will be granted.
Well, Mr. Kabon, we are made to understand that on Monday you'll be returning to the Ministry of Labour Relations. And are you ready to attend that meeting, and what are we to expect on Monday?
Oh, even an invitation that was extended to us less than 24 hours, we attended. So if we were informed today that we have a meeting on Monday, 2 o'clock, we will be there to deliberate on issues.
All right, thank you so much. Angel Kabonu is president of the National Association of Graduate Teachers, one of the teacher unions opposed to the appointment of Dr. Eric Nkansa as Director General of the Ghana Education Service, raising serious concerns about the revocation of the appointment of Professor Opoku Amankwa as Director General of the Ghana Education Service. Still on the line, and let's speak to the Deputy Employment and Labour Relations Minister, Bright Reku Brobe, who represented government in that particular meeting. Thank you so much for your time with us here on Eyewitness News, Mr. Brobe.
Good evening, and good evening to your cherished listeners. And please, who am I speaking to?
My name is Larte.
Nee?
Yes, please.
Okay.
So earlier today, you met the teacher unions. In fact, they seem resolved on their position. How is the ministry hoping to stop what is likely to be a long-drawn battle?
No. Let me first correct an impression. I'm not representing government on this matter. My minister was actually present. The Honorable Minister for Employment and Labour Relations, Honorable Bafogwa, has always taken keen interest in this, and in this matter, he himself chaired and he presided over the meeting as such. Let me put that on record.
That's clear.
Wonderful. The other matter is that we had a very constructive engagement with the teacher union, the pre-tertiary teacher unions. You know, in Ghana, one of the sectors that we have much more issues resolving every time is that of the Ministry of Education. It attests to the fact that lots more professionals are in there. I mean, we have the pre-tertiary, the universities, the events, all that. So we all the time have to meet with these groups. And indeed, we met with the pre-tertiary, and at a very close call, 24 hours less, they attended the meeting. We came, and it was all very fruitful. The modus operandi of the teacher unions, or not only the teacher unions, generally, is that they need mandate from their councils. So before they came to the meeting, they had declared strike. We told them this is not a matter that cannot be resolved, and therefore we need to get back and go to the classrooms. They saw reasoning with us, but they needed to go back to their councils. And today is Friday, you know, Monday, Saturday, Sunday, God willing, Monday, 2 p.m., we are meeting. And then since it's not a matter that, should drag on for that long, we can have a discussion. And Monday, God willing, we'll meet and everything, I'm sure.
So if you meet on Monday and the groups are still not satisfied with whatever you put on the table, what is it going to look like?
Why do you want to preempt that?
I'm just asking because they are very insistent on their decision for the president to revoke their appointment. Because I just spoke to the national president of the National Association of Graduate Teachers. That's the indication he gave me, that until their concerns are met, they are not returning to the classroom.
That's the point I'm making, that once on the table, a matter is there and we have to discuss it and resolve it. Why do you have to be on strike for us to talk about it? Once we can discuss and talk about it and engage and come out with the resolutions and solve the issue, why would strike even be relevant? So please, I mean, I'm telling you that it's a matter that we can sit. You know, they give 2 weeks, notice, but the Ministry of Employment and Labor Relations got to know of it quite late, and then we stepped in. So please, I am very optimistic that nothing untoward will happen. All the issues that they raise, we look at them, and that is why we are there. So assure parents, assure students, assure pupils, assure guidance that it would be resolved by Monday, God willing, when we meet with them.
All right, thank you so much. That's Deputy Employment and Labor Relations Minister Bright Reku Brobe. This is still Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. My name is Larte here with Nettey. Stay with us. We return with more.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Erazi Tiemi. Erazi increment in my salary. This is all I ask this season. Erazi Buami.
Mpaibom Mbappe, please stop disturbing God and switch your salary account to Access Bank now to get a triple.
twitter.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
You welcome back. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. My name is Larte here with Nettey. Let me read some of your messages coming in. And Frank from Bunsu Junction says, as a teacher, I'm disappointed in our leadership. Rather than fighting for conditions of service for teachers, they are tackling unnecessary issues. There are so many allowances that we as teachers are not enjoying. Okay, Emmanuel from Takrady also says that I totally support the teacher unions for their stance. Our leaders always think they can slap anything in our face and go away with it. Enough is enough, you see. Lord Daniel Atia in Dansuman says, good evening. Citi strikes and hardships is the order of the day. Posterity indeed is the best judge. JDM in mind, hashtag Citi Newsroom. Jones Aduboy in La says, good evening. The strike by the teacher unions is in the right direction. This does not respect divergent views. Ekufado and his appointees behave as if we are not governed by laws. No wonder we are where we are today. Keep your messages coming in via WhatsApp 0549986996. Now I want to take you to that story. Tomorrow we are going to witness what is a replica of the Preku demonstration led by President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo some 27 years ago. Organizers of that particular demonstration have disclosed their readiness to hold a planned protest on Saturday. The protest is to demand better conditions of service from the government and to call the president to resign over what they describe as bad governance. Ghana's economy, as we speak, has been saddled with hardships, which has currently led the country to seek an International Monetary Fund bailout ahead of the protest And we are going to speak live to one of the leaders, organizer of this particular demonstration, Martin Kpebu. He is a private legal practitioner. He says that the only way to get the country back on track is to have the president and his vice vacate their positions. Good evening to you, Mr. Martin Kpebu, and thank you for joining us here on Eyewitness News.
You're welcome, Larte.
Well, tell us, tomorrow you are hitting the street with some Ghanaians. What are we to expect? Because you have been loud and clear about this particular demonstration.
Yeah, so we expect that thousands of our fellow citizens, hopefully 100,000, will turn up to send a message to the president that enough of his family and friends government, which has led us into this deep crater. Because each time Ghana borrowed, his family and friends' business prospered. Yeah, you know, each time Ghana borrowed, Data Bank made a commission, profit. Contrary to Article 284 of the Constitution, which talks about conflict of interest.
So with what you are saying, do I get the sense that times are even harder now when the president himself led that original Kumipreku demo in 1995? Are policies not favorable now?
Oh, absolutely. Times are harder now. And let's quickly correct. The 1995 Kumipreku demonstration, it belongs to Tarzan. Tarzan is the originator. He and Kwan Pienim and the rest. So the president came on later. Yes, he didn't originate it. Tarzan is that's Dr. Reku Brobe, is the originator of Kumipreku. Good. If you look at conditions in 1995 compared to what we have today, today is far worse. 1995, we didn't have this galloping inflation that we are now experiencing, that prices of goods have more than doubled. Some have tripled. How can you triple prices such a short time and expect citizens whose salaries have not increased to be able to survive? I mean, it's mind-boggling to say the least. You see businesses are closing down, people are dying. You see maids and trot passengers fighting over 50 pesos and all that, leading to deaths and all these things. It's a shame. So the least the president can do is to go. Our second demand is that he and the vice, when they go, and the Speaker of Parliament takes over, immediately should take steps to cushion the Ghanaian. So they have to look at withdrawing some of the taxes on the petroleum products, because the taxes alone constitute at least 40% of the price build-up. Yes, usually it ranges between 40 and 50%. So the taxes are too many on the petroleum product. So that's something they should look at. Then government should look at subsidizing the cost of certain basic commodities or staples, rice, maize, and all that. It can be done. The Togolese are doing it, where the government is subsidizing the cost of food. So those things have to be done. Otherwise, my brother, we are going to starve to death. It's unimaginable. Then demand number three, efforts be made to stabilize the city. Yeah, be made to stabilize the city. Now, Larte, you remember in 2016, President Kufuor promised that when he is voted into office, he would change the structure of the Ghanaian economy within 18 months. Yes, that was his promise, and he would do it within 18 months. 6 years on, we are still import dependent. It means that President Kufuor doesn't have what it takes to deliver changing the structure of the economy from import dependency to self-sufficiency, domestic production. So these are all the reasons he should go. So when you listen to his speech, that was on Sunday, he was as if that was 2016 President Kufuor was talking, just repeating the very mantra that brought him to office. The Gagisberg economy, I will change the Gagisberg economy. Of course, it also includes adding value to the raw materials we export. He's not be able to do so. He said he will fight corruption. When he was asked, how will he fund free SHS? He said, the money from fighting corruption, the proceeds you make when he takes money back from corrupt public officials. That was what he said. And yet, since he took over for the past 4 years, if you lump together the malfeasances, misapplication of funds, etc., in the Auditor General's report, you get about 48 billion. How much of it has President Kufuor recovered? He couldn't. And so money from free SHS is from another source. So all of this show that President Kufuor is not fit for this office. They just have to go. But in all of this, let's never forget, each time Ghana borrowed and became worse off, President Kufuor's family benefited and became well off. So we're moving in opposite directions. Ghana was plunging into debt and hardship, whilst his family was getting richer and better and more comfortable.
That's a tall list of demands there and concerns you have raised. But for me, what interests me is the fact that you want the president and the vice president to leave office, which would then mean that the speaker would have to act as president as the Electoral Commission prepares for another election. Do you think the speaker is ready for such a time?
Yes, it's just 3 months. It's just 3 months. And you know what? It's going to create big euphoria, very big euphoria in Ghana. There people will help the speaker. Yes, there are technocrats all over. There are other people in the civil society space and all shades of opinions. The speaker will get ministers to help him. He will retain some of the MPP ministers, and then he will bring some on board. Obviously, Uforiata will be the first casualty because nobody wants him in that ministry, right? So the speaker will do a review. He will sit down with the various stakeholders, the chiefs, the church leaders, civil society, and the rest, and then choose a cabinet in a manner that will promote national unity. That's why I call it loosely. He will form a government of national unity because the speaker himself realizes that he comes from a different party from that of the president and the vice who would have resigned. So he has to reach out to them and build consensus so that there will be ministers from the NPP and all other shades of opinion.
Mr. Martin Kwebu, let me find out from you because, in fact, we have seen the Fix the Country demonstration. We have also seen one Arise Ghana movement. We have even seen the Yintua demo by the youth wing of the opposition NDC, really. And how convinced are you that this particular Kumipreku reloaded demonstration you are leading tomorrow will hit the right chord?
Yes, we have to keep dreaming. Never give up. Listen, did you ever think for a moment that the MPs will break ranks with the president and come out publicly to tell him that he must sack the finance minister? Did you ever dream about it? So that is how it is. You have to keep pushing, keep pushing. I'm sure Afghanians, what did the MPs say? They said their constituents told them to come and do that. So when citizens make demands on the MPs, it will happen. Like you remember how they've translated into English. So let's keep complaining. That way it leads to better outcomes. All right?
And are you sure of the numbers? Because you mentioned that you are expecting some 100,000 persons to join in the protest.
Larte, if Ghanaians were responding according to the hardship we are experiencing, 100,000 would be a drop in the ocean. At least 2 million citizens would turn up. If Ghanaians were using the hardship we are going through, 100,000 would be a drop in the ocean. So, in all of this, don't forget, the leader of a country is usually a reflection of the people. We are getting this kind of bad leadership because of the reticent. Ghanaians are often non-confrontational. You sit there and somebody will borrow you blind. You know, so many things. So many things. We are too accommodating. We are sitting down and the president is borrowing recklessly and putting the country into a debt trap whilst his family becomes richer and richer and richer and better off.
So for persons who want to join you for your demonstration tomorrow, where are you meeting? What is the route?
Obrasport at the Kwame Nkrumah Circle or Kwame Nkrumah Interchange. So from Obrasport, we start gathering from 6 a.m., 7, 8, 9. So between 9 and 10, then we'll start the journey to go to, the Independence Square. So we'll be on the Independence Avenue. We'll be on it up to Farisco Junction. We make left to go to Liberia Road. That's TUC, Stanchart. Then we'll continue down to National Theatre, Ministries Police Station. Then we'll make a left to go to the towards the Accra Sports Stadium. When we get to Accra Sports Stadium, we make a right to go to the Independence Square.
So are you just demonstrating, or you have a petition you want to submit to any of the authorities? What really is the plan after demonstration?
Okay. Yeah, so we have a petition, but we are not going to submit it tomorrow. We'll submit it on Monday. Yes, tomorrow is to galvanize the numbers, get the optics, so that President Kufuor can see that, yes, it's true that there's been a research that says that 54% of Ghanaians want him to resign.
Who are you going to submit this petition to, please?
Oh, we'll submit it to him on Monday or Tuesday.
What about security arrangements?
Okay, yes, the police gave us the all clear. We notified them. They looked at it and eventually agreed that, yes, they can provide security for tomorrow. Originally, this demonstration was built to come on last Saturday, but last Saturday wasn't convenient for the police. So eventually, when I brought up this Saturday, they looked at it and they saw that it was doable. So the police will be coming. They've assured us that they will be very professional. That is it. And also, apart from that, we are also encouraging all demonstrators to keep an eye out. Let's be each other's keeper, because it's also a natural fact that in matters like this, you always find one or two persons who will come to cause trouble. It's always been there in our history, even the Kumipreku demonstration. I was talking to Dr. Rekubo the other day, and he mentioned it, that some people came to cause trouble. They came to break people's windscreens, cars' windscreens, and the rest. If you ask other demonstrators, they will tell you there are always people who come to cause trouble. So let's keep an eye out so that those people don't get a chance to do any such thing.
All right, thank you so much, Martin Kwebu, and I wish you the very best in that particular demonstration. Thank you for speaking to us. Martin Kwebu is a private legal practitioner and organizer of the Kumipreku demonstration, which is happening tomorrow here in Accra.
Still on the Kumipreku demonstration, security analyst and a member of the organizing team for the protest, Adib Sani, has implored participants to be law-abiding during the demonstration.
We are also receiving information that there is a possibility that some bad nuts might try to infiltrate. So I wish to appeal to you to keep an eye on your brother. Let's be each other's keeper. If you see anything untoward, do not hesitate to reach out to the police or even the protest leaders. And if you are in a situation you neither can reach out to the protest leaders or the police, you can call the police line. And let's ensure that we don't have individuals infiltrating and marring the whole event. COVID is still an excuse, but it goes without saying that COVID should have actually rather made us rich. The over $2.5 billion that came as a result of COVID should have made us a rich country. We had the highest test figure in the world, $150 for anyone coming into the country, with estimates putting it at over $30 million every month. And the diplomatic community protested, and nobody was willing to listen because someone very close to the corridors of power is involved. What procurement processes went into that in the first place? So we are a sick country, and it has to be healed, and it starts with us. We cannot afford to continue bickering. We have to let politicians understand that we wield the power. We gave them the power, they have no power. We are the bosses, we employed them, and we can equally fire them. We pay for everything they do.
That was the security analyst Adib Sani speaking there.
Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM live from our studios at number 11, Dr. Martin Loop in Adabraka, Accra. My name is Larte here with Nettey. The bulletin is live across the country on our partner stations and all around the world. We are live on citynewsroom.com. If you stay with us, we take you to Parliament and hear from MPs who say they are struggling with the rising cost of petroleum products and are pushing for a 2-day parliamentary work policy.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
If your landlord say come up for house,
hello? Is that the Ghana police? I can't find my husband though. He is not picking up his call and he hasn't been home in 2 weeks.
Have you checked his office?
I have.
Have you checked with your in-law?
I did that too.
Do you have any property elsewhere apart from where you are now?
Officer, it's only a piece of land. We are just about to start building our 4-bedroom property. I doubt he's there.
Madam, please go and check and report back to the police.
Taxi!
Be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
You're welcome back. This is still Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. My name is Larte here with Nettey. Let me take you to Parliament now because MPs are calling on their leadership to consider 2 sittings in a week due to the recent increases in fuel prices. Let's go onto the phone lines and speak with the MP for Esojaman in the Eastern Region, Thomas Nyako Ampem. He raised this particular issue on the floor of the House today. Good evening to you, Honorable, and thank you for joining us on Eyewitness News.
Good evening, Nick.
Well, you have proposed a reduction in the 4-day parliamentary sitting days over fuel price hikes. But exactly why?
Exactly because since we came back from recess, I have observed that there is not much for us to be doing. And over the days when we go to Parliament, we sit from, let's say, 10:30, 11. By 1 latest, we have adjourned till the next day. I think 3 days ago, we sat for barely an hour and adjourned to the next day. And so my argument when the leader presented a business statement for next week was that if we look at what they have scheduled for us to do for 4 days, from Tuesday to Friday, I don't think it is much for us to be burning fuel coming up and down from our homes to sit in Parliament just for a few hours and go back. So if it is possible for them to consolidate the work so that we sit for longer hours, we can come sit for 4, 6 hours a day and exhaust 2 days work. So we don't have to come the next day because of the current prices in fuel.
Well, it's a no-brainer that times are hard. Mr. Honorable Ampem, are you still on the line? Sincere apologies there. We do not have Thomas Nyako Ampem, Member of Parliament for Esojaman in the Eastern Region on the line. We are trying to get back to him because, in fact, his call is that Parliament should be considering 2 sittings in a week due to the recent increases in fuel price, because he raised this particular issue on the floor, and then he says that out of the 4 parliamentary sitting days, Parliament should adopt a mechanism and ensure that parliamentarians visit the chamber at least just twice in a week. He says that the House, in fact, can also consider sitting for about 8 hours in a day and for the proposed 2 days just to save cost on fuel. I'm told that we have Honorable back on the line. Honorable, apologies for losing you there, but you were making a point. Can you conclude?
Yes. So my point was that instead of coming every day to spend an hour or 2 in Parliament, my suggestion was for the leader or the business committee to consider consolidating the work so that they pack them so we can do on a particular day what they have scheduled for us to do in 2 days, because we needed to be able to save money on the amount of money we are spending on fuel. And I give an example that 3 days ago I was at a Goil filling station at Legon, the UPSA junction. And when I asked the attendant to fill my tank for me, I didn't know it was going to go that high. And I stepped out to buy something from the shop only to return and to be given a bill of 3,000 cedis to pay. And I was almost embarrassed because I didn't have that much on me. There is no way I will spend 3,000 cedis to fill my tank. I mean, how? You see, so that is how dire the situation is. So you can imagine if a member of parliament is complaining, then how much more the teacher, how much more the nurse, how much more the civil servant.
Exactly what I was coming to, because one would argue that as a parliamentarian, you are in a very privileged position, and so if you are complaining, let me land. You may be justified in your demands and looking at the difficulties you are facing as a country. A lot of Ghanaians are reeling under the impact of the high cost of living. So really, they are looking up to Parliament for an interventionist, decision or solution. And so if you are making this concerns known, what's real about the ordinary Ghanaian you represent in Parliament or even the
Yes,
people
that
of
shows
Isojaman?
that the ordinary Ghanaian is even suffering more. And I followed my request with a suggestion made by President Mahama in his recent address at UPSA that, employers should consider the option of allowing employees to work from home. So, by extension, what I'm also calling for is that if the ministries can schedule work and ensure that civil servants who come to work can also pack the workload and do them in 2 or 3 days and stay at home for a number of days, other interventions must follow. We've already made a call to government that in 2022 budget, they estimated that they were going to raise about 6 billion cedis from oil revenue. Their own report tells us that the first quarter alone, they were able to realize 8 billion, 2 billion more than what they projected to get for the whole year. So if first quarter they got 8 billion, let's assume that second quarter they got another 8 billion, and third quarter they got 8 billion, even though we know it will go high because prices are going up. So with all this windfall, why is government not using part of this excess revenue they have made to cushion consumers, to cushion us in the pricing of fuel? So something must be done. We really need to do something because the rate at which things are going, it is just unacceptable.
Well, that position has been well expressed. We've heard from the former president. In fact, the minority held a presser this week and then also laid that similar concern or approach or solution, in fact, for government to decide on embarking. But really, your position, as you mentioned on the floor of the House today, has already faced some opposition. The majority leader says no, it's not something that the House is in favor of.
In fact, I was surprised at the majority leader's response, and he said that we needed to be productive in such a difficult time. And I wondered what his understanding of productivity is. Is his understanding of productivity the fact that we have to come and sit idle? No, I don't think so.
So what can you tell us? What will you do? What will you do as a house or as a caucus to ensure that Ghanaians really, together with you as members of parliament, are taken away from this particular, economic difficulties? Sincere apologies there. We do not have Mr. Honorable Thomas Nyako Ampe, Member of Parliament for Isojaman in the Eastern region. In fact, he was telling us that he is pushing for Parliament to consider 2 sittings in a week because of the increases in fuel price in the country. In fact, the majority leader, Honorable Osei Mensah Bonsu, has said that the call is unfortunate and one that could have dark consequences on the productivity of the House as well as the country. But this is still Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Can now hear from the majority leader, Honorable Osei Mensah Bonsu, who reacted or responded to that call by the Member of Parliament for Isojaman.
We are all in this country, we all buy fuel. I will know that fuel prices have indeed gone up. Of course, we may disagree on the cost of it. I relate to the price at international levels. I know that crude price now has gone up, it's escalated dramatically. You do know that. Of course, the other factor we must also admit is the strength of our local currency now. So the combination of the 2 factors, one must admit. Having said so, Speaker, when we are in dire circumstances, that is when we are called upon to increase productivity. And for a Member of Parliament to say that we should work in just 2 days in a week, the Speaker, that is a very apocalyptic declaration from the Member of Parliament. What will be the effect on national productivity? This call that you are making. And what will be the effect on GDP? I think that really is an unfortunate call on us that we should be working for just 2 days in a week. Mr. Speaker, and he says that President Mahama has made a request for people to work from their home. There's only one president in this country, one executive president in this country, and nobody can pretend to share power with that president. Whether it's a former president or a future president.
That's Majority Leader in Parliament, Osei Mensah Bonsu. We stay a while longer in the House.
Still in Parliament, the Minority Caucus says it will move its vote of censure motion against the Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta on Thursday, November 10, 2022. The minority filed a vote of censure against the minister on grounds of conflicts of interest and financial recklessness leading to the current economic crisis. Addressing the media, the Deputy Minority Chief Whip, Ahmed Ibrahim, says the group will not relent in its efforts to have the Finance Minister removed from office.
The motion of censure is slated to be moved on Thursday, the 10th of November 2022. And the majority chief, the Honorable Mutaka Mubarak, has sounded a note of caution to all minority MPs that all the 136 MPs must be in the chamber on Thursday, 2022. So any member who may absent himself from the chamber is at his own risk. And bear in mind that the whole Ghana is interested in this motion. And if you go through the Constitution, Article 82, Clause 3, Article 82, Clause 4, a minister of state in respect of whom a vote of censure is debated under Clause 3 of this article is entitled during the debate to be heard in his defense. So I know as today, this business statement was adopted by the House for the motion of censure being slated on Thursday, the 10th of November. The Minister of Finance himself is duly served to come and open his defense on Thursday. So everybody must be prepared that on Thursday, the motion of censure is going to be moved. And the motion stands in the name of the Honorable Minority Leader, Honorable Haruna Idrisu, and Honorable Minority Chief, Honorable Mutaka Mubarak. So what we are to do is to make sure that as the first Deputy Minority Whip, my boss is not here. So I'm using this medium to whip our members to the chamber on Thursday. Our constituents are interested in this motion. The majority MPs, all the 137 majority MPs, are also saying that the motion to censure Ken Ofori-Atta is a collective responsibility. So now we were all doing press conferences. The ball is set and it's in our court. On Thursday, whether we want Ken Ofori-Atta to be impeached or to be censured, the opportunity is being given to us by the Right Honorable Speaker. And you know, as I've quoted from the Constitution, the Right Honorable Speaker cannot say that he is allowing the 14 days constitutional duration to elapse. The Constitution says that the motion, and that is with specific reference to Article 82, Clause 3, the motion shall be debated in Parliament within 14 days after the receipt by the Speaker of the notice for the motion. And this motion was given to the Speaker on the 24th of last month, October. We are in November. The Speaker has admitted it. It has been advertised for the 7 days. The Speaker has given it to the Business Committee, and yesterday we sat on it. It was programmed to be moved on the 10th of November, and that's going to be on Thursday.
Ahmed Ibrahim is the Deputy Minority Chief Whip. Meanwhile, the Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta has disagreed with persons who believe he is clueless on how to fix the country's economy. Mr. Ofori-Atta believes he has what it takes to turn around the ailing Ghanaian economy. Speaking at a meeting with the Association of Ghana Industries, Ken Ofori-Atta says Ghana remains the best destination to do business.
To assure you that you have a finance minister who has gone through all the pains and aches, and nobody can really come and say you don't understand what we are doing. The question is, what resources do we have and how are we going to deploy them in the nation that we have, and how do you stand firm in very difficult circumstances but being very confident that the nation is purposed for greatness, and you are blessed to have the opportunity to lead where we are going. And let me assure you all that your best bet is still Ghana. We can do it, and we should do it.
Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta speaking there.
Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM live from our studios at number 11, Dr. Martin Loop in Adaraka in Accra. Next is business.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens. Get the details. Every significant financial transaction, every market movement, and all the policies that affect your business. Citi Business News. Be informed.
Time now for Citi Business News on Eyewitness News, powered by citibusinessnews.com. Let's settle for the details now. As government continues to engage stakeholders for inputs ahead of the 2023 budget and economic statement, the Association of Ghana Industries has reiterated calls for the full reversal of the benchmark value discount policy and the implementation of the zero-rated import duties on industrial raw materials. These proposals topped the list during a discussion between the association and the Minister of Finance on Thursday. President of the association, Dr. Humphrey Eyim-Dake, has been highlighting other measures government must consider to help it revive the economy in the short term.
Once you're in the manufacturing industry, the policies are germane and they are cross-cutting on some issues. There were recent concerns that came up that we also tabled. So yes, we reiterate the same old policy issues to emphasize on the benchmark reversal with the promise by the minister previously. We insisted on for purposes of revitalizing the industrial space. We believe import duties on industrial raw materials must be zero-rated, and it's part of our previous call. Basically, that goes from firm pre-production taxation, where we asked that it should convert post-product taxation. So we demonstrated our concern with him through data and science analysis, and we also engaged on the VAT policy. That is something we've already spoken about a number of times. Other related issues that came in were bit specific, and in recent RFO reversal by the Ministry of Energy, it will have significant impact on industries that use RFO for production, and therefore vivid examples were given, i.e. like what is happening between political and all the way to the water manufacturer policy, that is the textile lane, and then we also demonstrated that in the beverage lane and what the impact would be in the beverage industry. As much as government is under stress with finance and therefore subsidizing the RFO concern, we sought to demonstrate to the minister the aggregate impact if that is denied industry.
That was the president of the Association of Ghana Industries, Dr. Humphrey Eyim-Dake. Ghana's micro, small and medium-sized enterprise sector is set to see a major boost as the Monetary Authority of Singapore, the Bank of Ghana and the Development Bank Ghana have signed a memorandum of understanding to develop the Ghana Integrated Financial Ecosystem. The ecosystem aims to enhance financial capabilities and access for these businesses and generate greater opportunities for trade and financial services cooperation between Singapore and Ghana. In a joint statement, the three entities said, over time, it is envisaged that the integrated financial ecosystem model can serve the Asia-Africa SME trade corridor more broadly. It explained that the ecosystem will offer an open digital infrastructure for MSMEs in Ghana and Singapore in 4 key areas, including the SME Financial Empowerment Program, which will help the businesses build foundational digital financial literacy skills and gain a good understanding of cross-border financial services. The Monetary Authority of Singapore, the Bank of Ghana and the Development Bank Ghana and financial institutions will also jointly develop financial trust frameworks to assess credit worthiness for financing by enabling financial institutions to use alternative data sets such as the track record of successful payments to suppliers and tax payments to relative authorities. An economist at the University of Ghana Business School, Professor Godfred Bokping, is advocating the development and implementation of policies that will create opportunities for women and which will lead to their economic empowerment at the national and regional levels. The economist maintains that women, given the chance, are better managers of finances in every situation. Professor Godfred Bokping made a call at the second CATS GIZ public-private dialogue on making the AFCFTA work for women traders and women-led SMEs in the country.
Ghana's pioneering role in the AFCFTA, which also included being selected to host the Secretariat, and which was also evident in the formation of the Organization of African Unity, and now AU, should be leveraged upon to put women-led businesses at the forefront of the implementation of the AFCFTA. Ghana doesn't have an option. My reason is that the poverty and inequality reducing effect of empowering women-led businesses is unparalleled in the literature, and Ghana must seize the opportunity and act on time and act on scale. This dialogue, I believe, lead to policy and administrative reforms that make women-led businesses truly lead and become the engine of growth as we seek to guarantee private sector leadership in our economy. This then requires that we must be intentional and adopt positive discriminatory approach strategies that seeks to eliminate barriers to women-led businesses and traders. Studies such that in hard times, as we are going through in Ghana, it is in hard times like this that we see the patience, endurance, the entrepreneurial and innovative skills of women at home and in the office and in managing businesses.
That was economist and professor at the University of Ghana Business School, Godfred Bokpin. As part of moves to sanitize the digital space, government, through the Ministry of Communication and Digitalization, has disclosed that it will present a digital economy policy brief to Parliament by the end of the year. The policy, when fully adopted and implemented, will provide a formalized structure for government technological activities and processes. The Sector Minister, Madam Ursula Owusu-Ekufo, who revealed this on the sidelines of the Technology Breakfast meeting in Accra, said government is working assiduously to make Ghana the digital hub in West Africa.
We're using digitization to formalize our economy. What does it entail? Every sector has something to contribute. We can't just do it in an ad hoc manner, that you're digitizing your operations. We need to have a formalized structure within which to do it. And that is why we're developing that policy, which will guide the uptake of technology. And it's really threefold: digital skills, the technology that we use, and the processes that we use. So people, technology, and processes, all of them are going to be looked at. And then which sectors are we going to use? What kind of systems are we putting in place? The infrastructure that we're putting in place, the applications that will leverage on that infrastructure, the manner in which we're going to engage, and the end result, the deliverables that we expect from this exercise. That document is currently being worked on as we speak. So we would have stakeholder engagement where they would do a fuller presentation on the details of the policy, and we're hoping to launch it by the end of this year so that it guides the digitalization agenda of this government. We're determined to make Ghana the digital hub of at least the West African sub-region. How we do that, when we do that, what we need to get there, that's what the policy is going to set out.
That was the Minister of Communication and Digitalization, Madam Ursula Owusu-Ekufo. In its quest to present clients and customers with a comfortable and secure driving experience, leading automobile dealer Silver Star Auto Limited has launched 2 new Aisha brands onto the Ghanaian automobile market. The 2 new brands, which are the Aisha buses and trucks, are a division of Volvo manufactured in India. Speaking during the launch of the cars, General Manager in charge of sales at Silver Auto Star Limited, Akbar Siddiqui, indicated that the company is giving a 5% discount to customers who purchase the brands in the next 2 weeks.
Basically, what sets Aisha apart from a lot of the other truck manufacturers is its attention to detail. What I mean by this is we always ask ourselves, what is it that the owner of a truck is looking for? And ideally, you're looking for a return on your investment and a low total cost of ownership of the vehicle. And with Aisha in India, it's basically known for its low mileage. So it can run the furthest with least amount of diesel. And this is the biggest upselling point of Aisha trucks. The second thing is because of its collaboration with Volvo Group, there is a lot of technology crossover that happens from Volvo into Aisha trucks. Yeah. So we have brought this brand of vehicles, these trucks and buses, to Ghana through Silver Star Auto because we are confident that in this hard economic climate that we are in, every CD spent on diesel needs to go the furthest it can go. And so we hope that customers patronizing trucks for either their last mile deliveries or for the transportation of people for their companies as staff buses or for school buses would contact us and see exactly what the buzz is about.
That was the General Manager in charge of sales at Silver Star Auto Limited. Ending Citi Business News on Eyewitness News. The bulletin was powered by your most comprehensive business news website, citibusinessnews.com. Up next is Point Blank.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
If I say EGL Bazaar, say it be Bazaar. Electroland Ghana Limited is running a tech sale all you can grab bazaar. Items are a mixture of brand new, slightly used, scratched, showroom display, repaired and dented. Get up to 80% off. EGL Bazaar runs from Friday to Sunday. That is on the 4th, 5th and 6th November from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. each day. Location, Coca-Cola Roundabout, Spintex. Satisfy your tech hunger with products from Nasco, Samsung, Media, Toshiba, and more. Samsung television at 1,199 Ghana City. Grab a Nasco top load washing machine 6 kg, 1,299 Ghana City. Media toaster 399 Ghana City. Grab for yourself smartphones, accessories, candlelights, washing machines, fridges, ovens, gas stoves, vacuum cleaner, dispenser. Quickly jot down the numbers. Call 0242 439 437.
EGL, home of electronics and appliances.
We're sorry to interrupt this program for a breaking news story. Information reaching us is that the whole country has been thrown into a state of joy and excitement about the new look of Total Energies lubricants. Our correspondent Kwame Owusu is standing by to bring us the very latest developments. Kwame, what exactly is the situation where you are?
Emmanuel, I must say there's a huge crowd here with drivers and customers extremely excited about the new Total Energies lubricants bottle. I have with me here one of the drivers. Hello, boss. Yes, you are live on Quartz 202.1 FM. Tell us the reason for your joy.
My name is Wong, and for 10 years, I use only Total Energies lubricants for efficiency and performance of my car engine. With a new bottle, it's easier to read, carry, and pour. New bottle design and color, new label, new cap, and security features with the QR code. Massa is the same superior oil quality. Challenge, this is performance at first sight.
So you heard it right. Total Energies lubricants bottle have been entirely redesigned into a modern and premium pack to give you the best experience. Reporting live from the capital, this is Kwame Owusu.
Quartz, keep your engine younger for longer.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Time now for Point Blank. And today on Point Blank, we bring you a briefing by the Sports Minister on expenditure for the FIFA 2022 World Cup in Qatar. The government says an amount of $8 million is expected to be spent on the group stages. This comes after the Ghana Football Association received an amount of $1.5 million from FIFA for preparations towards the World Cup. Ghana is also expected to receive an amount of $9 million from FIFA for the group stage matches. Here is the Minister of Youth and Sport, Mustafa Yusuf, briefing Parliament on the country's expenditure towards the tournament.
On Ghana's preparation and participation at the FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022. Mr. Speaker, the FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022 is expected to be the biggest football festival in the history since 1930. This edition of the premier football competition will be hosted by a country from the Middle East for the first time in the history of the tournament. The tournament will open on the 20th November and conclude on the 18th December 2022. As of today, the tournament is exactly 16 days away from the kick-off as the host nation, Qatar, will take on Group A opponent, Ecuador. The Black Stars will play against Portugal in Group H 4 days later. Uruguay and South Korea are the other group opponents the Black Stars will compete with for a place in the round of 16. Mr. Speaker, the Qatar 2022 World Cup will be Ghana's fourth appearance in the global showpiece. And Ghana's first appearance was in Germany in 2006, where the Black Star impressively reached the round of 16th stage by following the defeat to the 5-time champions Brazil. The Black Stars appeared consecutively in South Africa 2010, Brazil in 2014, before failing to reach Russia in 2018. Our return to the global football arena afforded Ghana the opportunity to showcase our nation, our culture, football to the rest of the world. The occasion will also be a chance to better our highest performance of quarterfinals finish in South Africa 12 years ago. My statement is centered on Ghana preparation participation at the FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022. Ghana qualified for Qatar 2022 by beating the rivals Nigeria in the two-leg play-off in March 2022. Mr. Speaker, Ghana targets at the Qatar 2022 about 190 nations played in the qualifiers for the Qatar 2022, and Ghana is one of the just 32 nations to successfully qualify for the competition. This achievement cannot be overlooked due to the failure of more illustrious nations to reach the Mundial. 4-time winners and reigning European champions, Italy, and other several high-profile nations failed to qualify for this year's tournament. Achieving the qualification itself is a big motivation and will enhance resourcefulness towards the preparation, and we are confident of performing optimally in Qatar. Government of Ghana, through the Ministry of Youth and Sports, have been collaborating efficiently with the Ghana Football Association to prepare the various aspects of the participation in Qatar 2022. Our target is to better our performance at South Africa 2010, which remains Africa's biggest outing in FIFA World Cup history. Mr. Speaker, specifically the Black Star team realistically targets the following results in Qatar 2022. Qualify from the group stage to the round of 16, which include Portugal, Uruguay, and South Korea, and progress throughout the knockout stages. Government, through the Ministry of Youth and Sports, has been working with the FA on the following as part of our preparation to achieve our targets in Qatar 2022. Keep the players, technical team, officials motivated, inspired, mentally, physically, and psychologically. Develop and sustain a strong team bond, respect, dignity, support, and team ethics prior to and during the tournament. Mr. Speaker, Ghana's preparation for the tournament. Following the March playoff success over Nigeria, the Ministry of Youth and Sports have been working with the Ghana Football Association to prepare the Black Star adequately for the tournament. These preparations span relevant on and off the field activities in order to achieve technical, financial, psychological preparedness towards our target in Qatar. Through the Ministry of Youth and Sports, the government supports the FA. The Black Star incorporates 4 practical areas as follows: the technical preparation, the team preparation, team reinforcement, and managerial preparation. Since his appointment after Ghana regrettable group exit at the African Cup of Nations tournament in January 2002, Coach Otuago has been leading a strong constituted technical team. The Black Star technical team is largely constituted by Ghanaians with continuous local and international football experience at the highest level. The composition of the highly qualified, skilled, and experienced and competent technical team is led by the head coach, Coach Otuago, and includes Chris Hutton, technical advisor, George Boateng, Didi Dramani, assistant coach, and George Boateng is also assistant coach, and the goalkeeper trainer, our former goalkeeper, Richard Kingston. Mr. Speaker, I must also report that 4 local coaches will also be given opportunity as additional support staff and to use the platform to gain experience, confidence, and exposure. This is part of the broad strategy of the Ministry of Youth and Sports and the Ghana Football Association to develop local coaches' capacity. The Ministry of Youth and Sports has remained in constant engagement with the FA, in the view of ensuring that every facet of technical preparation is achieved and delivered on our target in Qatar. Team preparation. The playing body of the Blaster team has been following the program by the technical team towards the tournament, and this aspect of the preparation has mainly centered on player selection, camping, boarding for the required tactical and technical drill deemed useful towards targets in Qatar. The technical team has been working with expansive number of players based locally and abroad throughout the qualifying games and friendly matches played until now. Based on these experiments and further monitoring, the technical team has submitted a provisional list of 55 players to FIFA prior to the last friendly match against Switzerland on November 17th. The final friendly match will be played just 1 week to the opening of Group H game against Portugal, and the final squad of FIFA required 26 players will be submitted before the tournament begins. So far, 2 out of the 3 friendly matches have been played with the following results. The match against Brazil and Nicaragua in September produced mixed results. Brazil, one of the favorites to win the title in Qatar, won 3-0 against Ghana in France. However, Ghana improved second half performance against the 5-time world champions was a positive reaction from the team and the technical team, as that is expected to improve before the tournament begins. Days after the Brazil tournament, the Blaster beats Nicaragua 1-0 in Spain as a testimony to the improvement of the team. The final preparation game against Switzerland on November 17th in the UAE should provide more certainties going into Qatar. Team reinforcement. Several players scouted locally and abroad of Ghanaian descent have shown prospects improving the team. The players have been strategically crafted into the team, and with the support of government through the Ministry of Youth Sport, some of these talents have their Ghanaian nationality recognized for the tournament, having played in countries of their birth at the junior level. Mr. Speaker, the projected benefits for the Qatar 2022, the benefits associated with FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022 are enormous, and the Ministry of Youth and Sports put forward the following benefits that could accrue to Ghana from the FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022 tournament. The pride of participation. Qualified as one of the 32 nations out of 190 countries that took part in the qualifiers over 4 years is prestigious, glamorous, and historic, and it will enhance our image in the competition that will be followed globally. Tourism and investment potential. Mr. Speaker, the tourism and investment opportunities that would accrue from taking part in the FIFA World Cup cannot be overlooked. Our appearance and performance in Qatar will publicize, advertise, and showcase the Ghanaian culture and other opportunities for foreign direct investment and tourism. This World Cup participation will provide a platform for coordinated activities with other sectors of the economy to market our textiles, chocolate, and other cocoa products, artifacts, artists, and tourism potential. That Ghana government officials, such as staff from ministries, departments, and agencies, including the Ministry of Trade and Industry, Ministry of Food and Agriculture, the Ministry of Tourism, Culture, and Creative Arts, Ghana Tourism Authority, Ghana Investment Promotion Center, and Ghana Export Authority will be encouraged to have sideline meetings with investors and potential tourists. FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022 Legacy Project. It has been the vision of the host nation, Qatar, to create and sustain of a first of its kind Qatar 2022 legacy projects across the world. Part of operationalizing this vision include the creation of bilateral relationships with interested countries, especially participating countries from Africa, Asia, and the Middle East, for the transfer of knowledge, skills, logistics, and other resources after the tournament. These phenomena include the possibility of establishing new projects in the beneficiary countries, and Ghana has been working on exploring and taking full advantage of these opportunities. Enhancing policy for sports development. The organization of the tournament, such as FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022, cannot be an event, but a process involving critical thinking, creativity, innovative policies, Policy formulation stems out of experience and thus stimulates concretization of the phenomena in the past and present. The organization of the games, creation and management of the facilities and logistics, formation of partnership and coordination of diversity are worthy of learning. The realities of deficit of technical skills and its enormous effect on performance of Ghanaian athletes at the just ended Commonwealth Games in Birmingham show clearly that technical gap that needs to be bridged among sports and sports-related officials. The diverse nature of personalities to be sent to Qatar has primary objective of supporting the capacity building process currently pursued by the ministry. The African Games, Accra 2023, required high level of competence, and we intend to use this occasion to lay down foundation for skills and competent development among our people. Revenue generation and expected expenditure for Qatar 2022 World Cup. Mr. Speaker, having qualified for the tournament, the FA received $1.5 million from FIFA to augment the Black Star preparation, and this amount was useful to the team. Friendly matches to improve technical and managerial readiness for Qatar. Ghana will receive further $9 million for our group stages participation in the tournament, covering 3 games against Portugal, Uruguay, and South Korea. Our group stage appearance will cost us as a nation an estimated amount of $8,166,200 United States dollars, which our side firmly fixed on progressing throughout the knockout stages. And I'm delighted to give more good news. Mr. Speaker, progressing from the group stage to the round of 16th will increase Ghana prize money from $9 million to $30 million. At this stage, our expenditure is likely to increase to $8,792,600 United States dollars. Mr. Speaker, when we progress from the round of 16th to quarterfinals, the prize money will also increase from $13 million to $17 million. At this stage, our expenditure will also likely to increase from the $8,792,600 to $9,512,200 United States dollars. If we progress from the quarterfinals to the last 4, Ghana stands to receive $27 million United States dollars to $42 million US dollars. At this stage, we estimated a combined expenditure for the tournament at $14,184,100 United States dollars. This estimated expenditure includes appearance fees, bonuses, per diem, flight arrangement, medical equipment, logistics, and hospitality.
And that was the voice of Sports Minister Honorable Mustafa Yusuf on Ghana's budget for the FIFA 2022 World Cup in Qatar. There is more on this on Sports Panorama with the Citi Sports team right after I sign out. But thank you so much. This has been Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. My name is Larte. Show produced by Beverly London and Sixtus Don Ulu. Technical support by Daniel Squashi. Have a good night.